So welcome to another video. This is going to be about technical analysis or what's really happening in gold in relationship to price action. Now, reading price is the one of the most important factors because we all have there's a lot of concepts and for example, let me say strategies. For example, somebody might be trading ICT silver bullet, somebody might be trading just support and resistance and double tops and patterns and so on. So good. But there's something that makes a trade valid or invalid. If you understand the PDRAs and they align with PDRAs, I'm talking about order blocks. I'm talking about fair value gaps. I'm talking about discount premium PDRAs like swing low, swing highs on a specific um, uh, zone. So in this scenario here, there's something that most people don't surely know, and it's very important. I'm going to be talking about the dealing range. So the dealing range in this scenario, this what gold has been playing around. So from this high to this low, okay, from this high to this low, we have our zero point 0.5. This is 0.5 is the midpoint of this dealing range. So when price created this low, we went to the zero point 0.5, then dropped again. So this drop is where there's a little bit of confusion. We were either supposed to be dropping to 0.79 before we think about pushing high again towards taking these highs and so on and tapping this PDRA or probably somewhere in there. But regardless, it is all good. So once you understand that this is our dealing range, we're going to be asking ourselves these questions. What PDRAs do we have here within this dealing range? We have a bearish gap. We have some order block here. And remember, also here we had an order block. This is why price came back here. This was an order block here. Price came back in there. As much as we have issues with with the brokers, every broker tended to have different market market outlook, and that's also another crazy way to look on to these things. So let's assume that you are a trader, and from here, for example, where we are right now, price was dropping down. What you see, price was kind of weak. The only time we had a serious displacement is this zone here where we created this gap. You see this gap here that I've marked out. This bearish gap that I marked out right here, this was the only good thing that, and you see price was respecting it. We never closed above the consequent encroachment of it until today. Maybe that is likely to happen, but I don't know. Okay, so if you take a look at this closely, these days, or for example, it was last week, that was 30th of April, and we had also Friday, which is now 1st May. Now, price was playing around that PDRA, but you see, this was not just any type of a gap. This was a breakaway gap. Breakaway gaps always means that price is very heavy and want to drop to a PDRA. So, what PDRA was price really headed for? This was our PDRAs. This swing low. You see here, this one down here. Okay, so this is where we were interested in going. But you see, what's happening with gold right now might just change everything. And what's happening right now also aligns with what fundamental or what's happening. You see, we have geopolitical factors right now in these markets. But that's a lot of people are confused because they switch anytime. Guys, I think that trading is about, you see, even 15 minutes, just 5 minutes is enough for everything to change. This is why I used to have issues with giving people signals. For example, right now, I can tell you guys that I'm in some shorts right here. I'm shorting gold towards this level down here because I don't want to target all this period down, but I'm shorting it based on market structure here because we're taking some London liquidity. This is London liquidity right here. We also had some Asian liquidity. That's on the buy side. We've taken both buy sides of Asian and London liquidity, and when you take a look at it closely, we've also had market structure shift somewhere there, which is literally another block. Price came back in there, and I've just entered at this at around 5 p.m., which is literally 10 New York time. Now, I'm expecting to exit somewhere down here. I don't know if this is gonna win, guys. I'm not sure about it. but it's just probability. So what do? I ensure that my risk is well calculated, that even if this trade, because my stop loss just up here, if this trade goes to a loss, I won't be crying. I won't be like, oh my goodness. Only risk what you are capable of losing, because if, for example, I'll risk only 1% here. If this loses, because from this level, this one, I'm targeting around 1 to 4.5 in this trade. If this one loses, I'm gonna say it's okay. But why did I take it? It aligns with what I wanted. It aligns. Even if you go on hourly time frame, I had a lot of conferences here. We've taken some swing high right there. We've taken another one right there. You see it, and we were just jumping into this PDRA. You see there, we had just jumped into that PDRA. Then price closed back in. This second candle that closes back in shows that price is interested in something lower. So now we have a swing low here. Definitely is likely going to be coming for this swing low, but that will also depend on how today we close. We'll go there. When you go to 15 minutes time frame, I've had, these structures. I've had these bearish caps, supporting the sales. But on the other hand, do I have any bullish structures, that is opposing me? Yeah, we have a bullish one, but this is nothing. This is not such a big deal here. Yep, but we do have some here. So these are things to pay attention to. Okay. So if you go back, to daily time frame, what's really going on? We tapped a PDA down here, an order block, and we tapped that order block. We tapped this order block. Let me just mark it properly. We tapped this order block right there. And you see the way price reacted to this order block, it never wanted even a body to close it. It respected it. So this is really confusion, because this is a game these guys are playing in here. This is a very confusing market that if you don't have experience, or if you don't know how to read price correctly, then you might end up having consecutive losses. Okay. Now, the day on Monday this week, we took the low of last week low, right? Previous week low. Then what did we do? We closed back in. You see that? We never displaced below it. We closed back in. And most of the time when this happens, and then the next candle also closes back in, then this, shows that something is up. So meaning that today when you come into this market, you were supposed to be looking for buys. And what are we targeting? This swing high and this unfinished business, because this gap was not fully filled. And we had an order block somewhere there. So unfortunately, with what I'm seeing right now, if price end up closing aggressively above this swing high and above this PDRA, this bearish gap, then definitely, guys, be ready. We're going back to this level and possibly to finish up some business up here. There was some business that's unfinished up here. There's some business unfinished up here. This business that was supposed to be finished up when price took out this low and we're pushing higher. Unfortunately, instead of finishing up this business, it dropped down. So people who already there's some people who already in longs from here. I don't know, maybe here, and so on. So there's some people saying, okay, these are breakout structures, so they bought here and put their stop loss right here. As you can see, they've been stopped out. And right now, there's some people who have seen this as a bearish gap, so they're selling right here. They're going to be putting their stop loss somewhere up here or maybe up here, and they're thinking that we are coming down here. But that will depend on how this candle closes. Because if we end up closing aggressively against this one, then that changes everything. So what does this mean? This means that this market changes constantly. You can't have a bias and expect that bias to remain like that forever. You have to read price. If the algorithm switches its course, you also switch the like the course. If the algorithm does something, you have to be aware, like, why did this happen? Because you see, if you end up closing above here, then that will be gonna be changing market structure shift, definitely. And we're gonna be having now a bullish order block right there if we end up displacing up here with a gap. And now the question is gonna be, where are we going to? Yep, trust me, price might come back again to this level here, on this this part of the dealing range. I'm um, grading. So this is what's currently happening with gold, and based on even the sales that I'm taking here, trust me, I know it's a low probability. It's very dangerous, to be honest, because this like trying to pick the tops and bottoms. But that's why I'm planning to exit down here immediately. I'm not planning to stay in this trade for long. No, 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 no. But why am I engaging this trade? I understand the order flow is bullish. Yep. But we've taken some important liquidity here. And now the concept of time and price, we just, balanced a PDRA right here. Let me mark it. Let me mark it properly. That bearish PDRA, we just fill it up. And I was just taking a look. How did you play, with it? We respected this PDRA very, very well. Very, very nice. So what does this say? This says that price is likely interested into something lower. So the first target is going to be this swing low right here. If we push lower, then definitely, if we end up closing below this gap, probably from this consequent encroachment and below, then definitely we're coming back down here and all the way down, which I would really love to see that happens. But if until that happens, I can't say anything. So with swing traders, at some point, I'm very sure even swing traders are also confused. And you see, this is the advantage that we as day traders have over them. When they're confused and they're waiting for weeks, months to be able to get a trade or for days, we just wait for hours and we see, like what time is it? What's happening? What PDRA is price likely, to react from this zone and so on. So as I've said, we have a bearish order block right here. Price just went back to it, and that was my entry. We also, this order block also had PDRAs that was supporting it. So some people already had sold from here, so they sold from this bearish gap. They put their stop loss up there, and with it's a low risk to reward ratio. So that's why I'm saying that not unless you understand a lot of a lot about this market, so that you can be able to engage different PDRAs, engage different conferences in this. Bottom line, this is what's happening with gold right now. I can't really do anything right now, to be honest with you. Whatever I'm doing here is this is just a concept of of day trading. I'm just trying to short a little bit somewhere towards this area. So the way tomorrow, I'm gonna be looking at how we close today, and that we have 6 hours remaining. That will determine whether we are going down or we are going up. And you see, the geopolitical factors are aligning these well. Right now, Iran and US are in the middle of a deal. They're trying to sign up a deal. If they sign up this deal and they agree, boom, gold is going to push higher. And it's going to push higher. Why? Because this PDRA or what has happened here, this price action allows that to happen. Yes, technical is also very important. But when technicals and fundamental align, then that's even way beautiful. Because now you see, for example, on the on the technical side, we just swept some liquidity here. There's some people who had bought, their stop loss was right here, and some also bought here. Then we had some liquidity right there. They've been stopped out. Okay. Then some people also had sold. Their stop loss was right here. They've been stopped out. So you see, what's happening here right now is that uh, the geopolitical factors are creating a scenario whereby anything can happen. Because if we end up pushing above here, then boom, we go in higher. If we end up closing back in, meaning that there's no deal, the bombing in Iran keeps going on, then boom, we're going down. So that's what's apparently happening, and I hope these guys I hope that this will be helpful for you guys. So see you in the next one, and I hope this was helpful to you. Make sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe. So, and if you have any question, or if you want to join, or if you want me to engage in in teaching uh, concepts, you can always reach out at Cashline, RockyCashline at gmail.com, or RockyCalvin at gmail.com, or leave a comment. Then we'll be able to get back in touch. It's all about learning correctly because, guys, if I'm being honest with you, there's a lot of people who are teaching this thing for free, trading for free online. There's a lot of courses online. But the problem is, majority of people are teaching you this thing incorrectly. Even if you study ICT himself, it keeps on saying that most of you are not learning this thing correctly because some guru just went ahead and think that they do understand how this thing works. Then they created a course and that's why some of you are going through consecutive losses and you think it is just, it is part of the game. No way, there's nothing like part of the game. You have to understand, what is market doing, why is it doing what it's doing. If you cannot answer why the market is doing what it's doing, then definitely there's something wrong somewhere. And if you cannot understand, or if you cannot map out where the market is going, then definitely you have a lot you have a long way to go. So these are some of the concepts that you just have to pay into attention to, in terms of where we coming from, where are we going, why are we here, like what is the possible market next move. It's not prediction, it's just reading. Okay, if it does this one, I'm telling you guys that I can't really say where we headed right now, not until I see how today close. If today we end up closing there, I've told you guys, then definitely we're going up here. But sometimes market can be shitty, because tomorrow we might just end up having a reversal that ends up closing this gap completely, and that will also change everything, because now we don't have a PDA that we can use. We have disrespected this one, and also we do not create a new one. So this leaves us into a no man's land. So what do? We'll end up to engaging things like order blocks to see how price react to those order blocks, because now it's a matrix of PDRAs. And I know it's very confusing if you're a beginner, but it takes time. Even me, it took time. It did not just happen, all of a sudden. It has to take its time to be able to fully grasp or understand what exactly is going on here. So this being said, this was the technical side of the heads up or in the markets. And this video is gonna be uploaded at least 2 days late. So when you see this, definitely when you open your charts, this will likely already have closed. And maybe, because today is Wednesday, I'm gonna be uploading this on Friday, 8th. So yeah, it's when you see this, it we just know, just that's why it will be even better for you. Just know that if we end up displacing above there, then boom, know for sure we're going high from next week. So yeah, that's it for now.